Sonic Frontiers is a very divisive game, there's no question about this. Some people love it, some people don't, and some are in the middle, but it's no secret that it's a massive success and is selling fast like grandma's cookies. Many would say that it's because of the open zone, or cyberspace, or the combat, and opinions are diverse about why the game is worth your time. But one thing, majority of the people would agree that is worth about the game is the supersonic boss fights. Yes, even the final bosses. These bosses have been regarded as the best in the series, topping bosses like Dark Gaia, Solaris, and Final Hazard. These are really hype. But how did Giganto, Wyvern, and Knight became such fan favorites in and outside the community? Well, that's what this video is all about. So if you're enjoying this, hit the subscribe button, it helps the channel grow. One of the biggest complaints the 2000 had was that there was no supersonic. If there was, it was either super doo-doo or mediocre at best. Yes, I would die on the hill that Mania's final boss is mediocre at best. So with the next Sonic game, Moriyu Kishimoto, the director of most of the 2000s games and the Sonic Frontiers, had to deliver with Supersonic, because nothing screams ambition in a Sonic game quite like Supersonic. And at the middle of September, we had the confirmation that Supersonic is gonna be in the game, but not in the way people thought, because instead at the end of the game, Supersonic showed up at the 1/5 mark of the game, and so this got people really intrigued. How would they make Supersonic cool again? Who would be different from the core gameplay? Well, the rest is history, as they say, once the game released. With the release of Sonic Frontiers, Sonic Team made people see Sonic as the Giga Chat he is. People are now making status memes with the likes of Jetstream Sam from Metal Gear Rising Revengeance and Virgil from Devil May Cry, and treating him with the respect these characters have. People are also making art and edits of him that are also hype. But what are the reasons for this happening?
I guess that's one of the Titans keeping Amy trapped.
The first one is the impression, because with a boss fight you need to build him up as a threat, otherwise it wouldn't work. The impression for the first Titan is a little bit later than the other two, but nonetheless you are left with a strong impression of him once you first met him. After you collect the second emerald in Chronos, you immediately encounter not only the Titan, but also Sage. Once you are done with your banter with Sage, the Titan immediately sends you to the skies, and with the homing attack you have to get to his head and defeat him. Simple, right?
Were it so easy.
Because immediately after you finish attacking him, Giganto throws you away at Mach 11 speed right through the structures and cliffs of Chronos, and you are left with only one mission, to collect the Chaos Emeralds. Immediately, your objective after you are done with your first encounter with Giganto is clear, but to make each Titan unique, Sonic Team made it so that each first encounter with the Titan is unique to the other. With Wyvern, for example, once you get the first Chaos Emerald of Air Island, you are immediately thrown in a chase sequence, and you have to react to the missiles thrown at you, otherwise you are dead. Now, what is easily the best first impression I was left with Sonic boss is clearly Knight. You are thrown in a pretty normal platforming level, but you are not only chased by a spike shield, but also Squid shooting at you with his laser bows. You see what I mean? Each Titan leaves a strong first impression once you meet it, and you have one go in each of the islands to destroy it. The next one is rather interesting, is the build up of the fights. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. Giganto and Knight pretty much have the same build up in my opinion, except with Knight you have to grind rail on his arm. However, Wyvern on the other hand is something else, Rather than trying to climb him up like the other two, you first have to climb a tower to catch him. Then you have to do some platforming challenges to get the 7th emerald. I really like that. It's kind of a shame that Giganto and Knight didn't got that, but that's what makes each Titan unique. Once you get the 7th emerald though, you turn into Supersonic.
I'm hanging on to the other side. I won't give up.
Yo, look at Sonic! Oh my god, yo, he just threw it into the air with a tornado! Whoa, did he just throw him onto the ground? Whoa, Sonic, don't do it! Oh my god, he just threw him into a mountain! Yo, this is crazy! Sonic just went right through him! What is this? Wait, he just made him eat his own missiles! He made him eat his own missiles! Whoa, he just deflected and shot! Wait, he's riding his ship! He just sliced him in half! What is going on?
The third reason is the combat. The combat shines the brightest here. Every move is so anime-like, I literally went to heaven. I am not joking. This is by far the best combat system in a Sonic game, and the fact that it's carried from the core gameplay, rather than changing it, is like a welcome change in the franchise. I love the combat here, except if you're using the Sonic Crush, which is extremely OP for some goddamn reason. My favorite part of the combat is the quick side loop, which depending on the Titan can create some of the best shots in the franchise, which brings me to my next point, set pieces and cinematic shots. In these battles, the set pieces and cinematic shots that you are getting are absurdly godlike and different. They did not cut any corners with this. There are some of the best part in the whole game and franchise. With the quick side loop, you can either send Giganto in the air with a tornado, chain Wyvern, or literally pierce Knight with some swords from the ground and literally KO him with a trident from the sky. I kid you not, this is amazing. Every time you parry a Titan, you can also do the Grand Slam, and it is wildly different. With Giganto, it's a buffed up version of the normal one, but with Wyvern, you literally throw him at the highest point of Ares, and with Knight, you do the sickest KO of all time in a Sonic game. I cannot stress enough how much I want more of this. And then at the end, you are shown with a final finisher, cap of a fantastic fight. Now all this said, it can work without the music, obviously, because with the bad music, you're pretty much left with a generic Godzilla-esque fight. The music is what makes a good fight into an awesome fight. And so how did Sonic Frontiers did with the music department? Well, it was awesome. I can't say anything more or less. Bringing Killing Queen was a genius move by Sega, because they created the most memorable vocal themes in a Sonic game since Sonic Adventure 2. Yes, I said it. Literally, on YouTube, mostly you will see one of these soundtracks, and on social media, people praising the living slip out of them. That's how memorable they are. It was also surprising to see Tower Smith return for Find Your Flame after the Forces disaster. I mean, he's a good singer, but I thought that Sega would not want anything of Forces to come back, so to see him singing Find Your Flame with Queen was so good and surprising. However, it comes without saying that there was some stinkers. Supreme was decent and the end was eh. It was very underwhelming to see how the great streak of boss fights ended like this. But maybe it was for the best, I don't know. We might never see a final boss like that until Sonic Frontiers 2, but I hope for the best. Maybe with Update 3 we might see a revamped final boss, kinda like how Mania Plus updated the Metal Sonic boss fight. But for what it is, I have to give Sonic Team a huge congratulations for creating the most memorable Super Sonic boss fights, and I'm hopeful that they continue with this going into the future. And ladies and gentlemen, that was how Sonic Frontiers redeemed Super Sonic.